I have to read this one. I just have to. Here we go. How does this even happen? We're about to find out. It says 22-year-old woman taped up and slashed new Tinder date and then ordered food, boys. Says the cops. All right. Look at her. You go on a Tinder date and you're going to run into one of these psychos that's going to tie you up and get Uber Eats. Oh, she cuts you up into little pieces. You better watch your ass. You'll get Dahmered, eh? And what might be the worst of blind dates, a 20-year-old Colorado man is recovering from a Tinder date gone awry. The unnamed victim was found naked and bleeding in the parking lot of an apartment complex where his 22-year-old date, identified by police as Lauren Marie Dooley, allegedly performed oral sex on him before binding his wrists. What, dude? Listen, you got honey potted with a blowy, and then you got tied up. Okay, let's see how this happens. I don't mean to laugh because, it is what it is, though. Come on. He survived. Okay, so performed oral on him before binding his wrists and ankles with duct tape. So he let himself get binded. Okay, he was probably getting his blowy, and she goes, "It's so hot if I could tie you up." And he goes, "Fuck yeah, tie me up." You messed up, boys. Never get your arms or your legs tied up with nobody. You turned yourself into basically whatever she wanted to do to you here. Oh no. Man turned himself into a prisoner. All for a blowy. Do you see what men do? Do you see what women do to men? Come on, boys. Think with your head, not with the member in between your legs. We need to do better. All right, let's see what happens to this guy. Jesus. Binding him with with duct tape and cutting him with a sharp knife. Dooley has been charged with felony second-degree kidnapping, second-degree assault, and menacing. Is alleged to have enticed her date to remove his clothes before performing fellatio on him and taping up his hands and feet, to which he consented, of course. The victim found it odd, but consented to it. Of course, dude. The guy's in the middle of a blowy. He's just going to be like, yeah, sure. Yeah, do that. Tie me up. Let's do it. I don't care. Come on. What a menace. An affidavit published by Law and Crime states. She then apparently took out a knife and threatened him. According to the affidavit, she demanded he get into her bed, which he says was non-consensual given the introduction of the weapon. Oh my God. I can't imagine getting a blowy, letting a woman tie me up, and then she busts out a knife and says, "Get on the bed now." I don't consent anymore. However, when Laura produced a kitchen knife and demanded he get into her bedroom, the victim no longer consented to staying at the residence. So he was screaming, "Let me go, you psycho ass bitch." Okay, clearly she wasn't listening. Dooley, who will be arraigned Thursday, is said to have climbed on top of her victim and proceeded to use the knife to cut his left shoulder. Jesus. Lauren then used both her hands to apply direct pressure to the victim's throat for approximately 20 seconds, making it difficult to breathe. Lauren stopped, but only to procure a belt that she then placed around the victim's neck. She tightened the belt for another 20 seconds, once more making it difficult to breathe. When she took it off, she checked the victim's neck for a pulse. Holy hell. Seemingly displeased by the man's bleeding on her bed, the audacity to be a captured prisoner, ordered onto her bed and bleed on it after she cuts you open like a pumpkin. You peon, how dare you? Dooley then allegedly forced her date into the bathtub to clean himself up. Police said they later found blood in the tub. In the midst of all this, then she ordered food from DoorDash and threatened her date. "If you scream or say anything, I'll kill you," according to court documents. This is such a menace to society. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Imagine being tied up. Then she yells at you for bleeding on her bed when she cuts you, orders you into the tub, and then she goes, "1 second, I gotta order some food. I'm hungry." I'll be back to torture you after I have a full stomach. Wow. Dooley then ordered her date back to her bed and ate the food. Of course she did. She then fell asleep after placing the knife under the covers. What a maniac. Once Dooley was asleep, the victim told police he was able to finagle the knife to cut the duct tape and quietly leave the bed. As he tried to find his keys, Dooley reportedly woke up and chased him in the parking lot, where witnesses say she threatened him after smearing his blood on her hands as she called 911. He could be heard arguing with Dooley as he called for help, explaining to her that he called emergency services because you cut me and because you're going to kill me. Damn. Police and an ambulance were dispatched. Upon arrival, residents at the apartment advised there was a naked male in the parking lot that needed help. The affidavit states officers located the victim, who was naked and appeared to be bleeding from a laceration on his left arm. He was also actively backing away from the suspect, Dooley, who appeared to have blood smeared on her arms and hands. The victim explained that Lauren tied him up and cut him. The victim's life was never in danger from the cut on his shoulder, police say. Dooley faces up to 25 years in prison if found guilty of the multiple offenses. Come on. How many years do you think she'll really get? You know the court bias. This is what blows me away. Imagine if a man did this. This would make national news, right? You would hear this. It would be plastered all over leftist media about how masculinity is so toxic, etc., right? But check this out. This chick does this. It makes it on like the back pages of Yahoo News at most. You'll never hear about this. And she's going to probably do the bare minimum of time and be okay with it, and then cut up some other dude when she feels some type of way on Tinder. Christ, look at her, look at her, look at her. This psychopath is dealing out blowies. This should be a warning to all men. In the future, do not allow yourself to get tied up. Think with your brain if you're getting a blowy and you're meeting some chick after, I guess he went straight over to her house. One Tinder date, right? This is a stranger, boys. Watch your ass, especially in the world we live in today. Imagine. I'd like to get tied up, though. Yeah, fatal. And you're also going to get cut up. This guy made it out with his life. Okay, imagine this scenario for a second, guys. This one got caught and it was a funny story. But there are plenty of other stories we never heard of where a guy does put himself in this predicament because he is a horned toad. And guess what happens? He doesn't wake up. He doesn't get found in the parking lot. He gets disappeared. Watch your ass, guys. You know, this whole narrative that only men are predators is not true. You could be a victim, man or woman, to anybody. And unfortunately, men are like lured in with a lull of security because you're just a man and you're bigger, that you can't get manipulated and finessed into a compromised position like this. And you can very easily, because women are emotionally manipulative, like way better than men. Men are so far behind. It's like playing with the dum-dum. It takes absolutely nothing for a woman to use her sexual allure to get a man to do stupid shit like allow himself to get tied up and then your throat gets slashed. It wouldn't take much. Just a quick blowy. Come on, boys.